What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today, we've got another live fantasy football mock draft for you back on ESPN with a 12-team full PPR mock where we will be selecting third overall. Should be pretty interesting. And while we wait for this to kick off, a quick reminder, if you enjoy, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter at AllDayPigskin to continue interacting with us there. Let us hear in the comment section, do you agree, disagree, along with any other questions you guys might have. We will do our best to answer them all. But with that being said, we are on the clock here. And craziness has already ensued because we have seen Patrick Mahomes being selected first overall. Part of me wants to cancel this entire mock draft and just start over, but let's see what happens in the second round here. Hey, I've heard you loud and clear. You want me to take in the first couple of picks in the first round. You want to see a wide receiver. You think that's the way it should be. Let's play it out here. If there's any platform that this can work on, it is ESPN, because we've done enough of these mock drafts on ESPN in the middle to, back portion of the first round, selecting between like 5th and 12th overall, to know that there are big wide receiver runs, and that there's very quality running backs that are still available in the second and third round. So we can take advantage of this. Now, I continue to say, do not expect this just because, you're seeing these trendy things on some other channels or on rankings, ADPs, things like that. This will not be the case. I can almost guarantee you come your draft day, because first and foremost, rankings will be updated between now and then, because relatively speaking, it's still early, right? In the fantasy football season. And then the other thing is there's a big drop off in running backs. I get it. Wide receivers in full PPR, especially the elite ones, bring a lot of value. But there's a fast and hard drop-off at the running back position. And, it's a position where there's a lot of injuries, things like that. There's a lot of committee running back situations. So getting a starting guy is really a big deal, right? And for that reason, I think people, like usual, are going to refocus themselves on the running back position. And it's much easier to hit on a top 20 wide receiver in like the 4th, 5th round than it is to do that at the running back position. I think that's also a big factor. But with me having gone through that aside, let's take a look at the pick history here. And in the first round, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Jefferson, again, throw out that Patrick Mahomes pick, please, for the love of God. We went Cooper Kupp, right? So all right, we're playing the game. Christian McCaffrey, then afterwards Austin Eckler, then Jamar Chase, followed by Travis Kelce, Bijan Robinson, tremendous value at 8, Tyreek Hill at 9, Saquon, Stephon Diggs, CeeDee Lamb. So yeah, I mean, more pass catchers taken than running backs in the first round. That doesn't typically happen. Then Amon-Ra St. Brown, A.J. Brown, Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor dropping to the middle of the second round should tell you all you need to know. That's what I'm going to put it as. Garrett Wilson, Josh Jacobs, Nick Chubb dropping to the 20th overall pick is absolute lunacy. So let me just say that. Here, I would love Tony Pollard. I know I'm not going to get Tony Pollard. It's a damn shame, because the person drafting before me has sense in their mind. But it's all right. I'm going to go with Ramondre Stevenson here. I think he's a high upside running back as well. So we get Ramondre Stevenson to pair up with our Cooper Kupp. And then in this third round, I'm going to be looking at running back again. I think we've gotten to the point, since this is so wide receiver happy in terms of the selections, that, there's just been this big drop off there. Joe Mixon just went. I was really hoping he would fall to us. Wow, okay. So interesting. The person that picked Patrick Mahomes first overall had some sense in their brain and went Joe Mixon at the end of the second round. But then please, for the love of God, explain the Patrick Mahomes selection first overall. That's ASA 9, ASA 10, ASA 11, ASA 12. Breece Hall went, Travis Etienne went. Whew, man. Our top running back targets all just flew off the board. So what do we do here? If we want to go with another running back, it would have to probably be Najee Harris. He's my next highest ranked guy. Or do we go with a wide receiver, knowing that probably running backs are going to fall? So I'm going to do that. I'm just drafting Chris Olave. Let's play the game, folks. If we're going to play the game, let's commit to it. So I'm getting Chris Olave, Cooper Kupp, Ramondre Stevenson, all really high upside PPR players. So, we've been sniped here and there a couple times. Like we were hoping for Tony Pollard in the second round. We were hoping for Joe Mixon or Breece Hall or Travis Etienne in the third. It doesn't happen. Oh, well, at least, honestly, I'm kind of happy about it because it's introducing a little bit of reality to this, situation. So, okay, we've got Ramondre, Cooper Kupp, Chris Olave, our wide receiver position looking very, very strong. Running back, who we need to add some more pieces. I'm not even thinking about quarterback. Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts go in the third round. Good on you. You go ahead and do that. I'll be perfectly fine with a Justin Herbert or a Joe Burrow or a Trevor Lawrence later on. And even if I don't get them, guess what? Aaron Rodgers, steal. Dak Prescott, all things considered, pretty damn good value. If Tua can stay healthy, great value. So there are plenty of other options here. Let's again look at the pick history after our selection of Chris Olave. We saw DK Metcalf, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts. So the next two big quarterbacks, T. Higgins, Devonta Smith, Mark Andrews. Najee Harris going in at the end of the third round. I was considering Najee Harris, but I just don't believe too much in the Pittsburgh offensive situation. I really don't. The offensive line, I definitely don't believe in Kenny Pickett. Najee Harris, there's been talks about like Jalen Warren, the backup to Najee Harris, being a guy that can challenge him a little bit. That's never good. It's probably preseason talk, things like that. But Najee Harris hasn't impressed me all that much. So here, Jahmyr Gibbs goes in the end of the third round, Amari Cooper, Dameon Pierce. So let's see if I was right. Let's see if I end up being right and guys like a Miles Sanders drop to us in the, what would it be, end of the fourth round. So right now, he's right here at 52. We'll see. It's going to depend if somebody, if there's just a running back run. Honestly, that's what it's going to depend on. And for the most part, we still have like the majority of these people selecting. It's not on auto pick yet. So this is somewhat realistic at this point in time, right? TJ Hawkinson went in the fourth round, Deebo Samuel. So if we can get Miles Sanders in the fourth round, I'd be very, very happy. I'll even take Kenneth Walker, even though I do think Charbonnet is going to cut into those carries for what it's worth. Rashaad White in Tampa Bay without Leonard Fournette, I think he's going to be a pretty good pass-catching running back to, at least make up for the fact that the Bucs could be absolutely awful offensively with Baker Mayfield otherwise. So I like that situation upside there. Ideally, honestly, here, if we go Miles Sanders and then Rashaad White, I'd be pretty happy about that. Let's see if there's like some really good wide receiver value here, just in case. The guy that sticks out to me is lower on the list than Calvin Ridley, Marquise Brown as well. Tight end, George Kittle, I think should still be there. Yeah, so after Travis Kelce, the tight end position is devalued here on ESPN. Quarterback, Miles Sanders just went off the board. Chris Godwin. Okay. It's all right, folks. It's all right. Bob and weave. I think we're in a good situation. So, I mentioned his name once. Rashaad White, I think, is a good value. Kenneth Walker, also somebody that we could be looking at. So right now, I'll just take Rashaad White first because he was ranked higher, and somebody that's on auto pick could nab him. There goes Kenneth Walker. We're back on the clock here. So we got White. Alexander Madison. We need some running back depth. Do we take a chance and see if Madison drops to us, James Conner drops to us, and just go with the guy that I have ranked a little bit higher in Calvin Ridley? I think that's what we're going to do. Yeah, so let's do that. Our wide receivers, again, I think looking pretty good. I personally believe in Calvin Ridley. I know I feel like the fantasy community is split on him coming off that suspension, year-long suspension, obviously, right? But we know what he can do when he's healthy, when he has a legit quarterback throwing him the football. So I believe in Ridley, and I think him and Trevor Lawrence is going to be a great little duo. Now, what I'm really curious at here is where Alexander Mattison and James Conner go. This will be a really good test of how much people are going to be avoiding the running back position because they're by far and away the next best running backs. Hell, I mean, at this point, I'll even take Cam Akers. Other guys, Alvin Kamara. I mean, come on, that's a good value pick. So we're doing all right. I think we'll bounce back all right. ESPN has some of these guys ranked a lot lower than they should be. So our starting roster is starting to take shape. Ramondre Stevenson, Rashaad White, Cooper Kupp, Chris Olave, Calvin Ridley. We are looking all right. In the next round, we can even splurge a little bit, maybe even go with a George Kittle. We'll see. We'll see how this thing shapes up. Hopefully, we can still get some decent value picks, even though we're, one of the extremes. I mean, picking within the first 3 selections, right? There goes Alexander Mattison and George Kittle, 2 of the guys that we kind of had circled. I can't say I'm too surprised, though. People need running back. They see Alexander Mattison, no more Dalvin Cook. George Kittle, I think he's a top 3 tight end in fantasy. Like, it's him, Kelsey, then maybe Hawk or Mark Andrews, depending on how you feel about Andrews. So I like that situation. There goes J.K. Dobbins. It's all right. I'm curious where James Conner is going to go. If he's there for us at the end of the 6th round, I'll gladly nab him. If not, again, I mentioned the names before. Alvin Kamara, right? Cam Akers. Both decent possibilities. I'd prefer not to go Cam Akers because I already have Cooper Kupp, and I know you're going to say, well, you already have Chris Olave. Why are you considering Alvin Kamara? Pretty simple. I have more faith in the Saints offense to have more than one fantasy relevant player than I do that of the LA Rams. That's what it boils down to. So that's how I would do it, but we don't even have to worry about it. Cam Akers was drafted. So here, Justin Herbert just got selected. I was definitely considering him as well. There goes James Conner. It's all right. There's still a lot of good players at running back. Again, Alvin Kamara goes to the top of my list personally now. I think that if he serves a suspension, right, once he comes back, he's going to be the primary guy, at least in the pass catching role. That's what I believe. We'll see if that is the case or not. Trevor Lawrence just got drafted. I was also considering him. It's okay. There's still good quarterbacks. I mentioned it before. Deshaun, Prescott, Rodgers. We're fine. We do not have to sweat the situation. Marquise Brown, also a good value without DeAndre Hopkins. Absolutely, absolutely. So, but I'm going to get Alvin Kamara first here unless we get sniped, which very real possibility considering how this draft has gone. No, Dalvin Cook goes first, so that's fine. Let's get Alvin Kamara at the end of the 6th round and, kind of have that situation taken care of. Both Marquise Brown and Kyle Pitts go. That's a bit of a bummer. I'm not going to lie to you. I was hoping that one of those dudes would fall to us. They don't. At tight end, I don't love any of the guys right now. So I'm going to go with wide receiver. I think Pittman is a good value pick at this point in time. So let's add him to the squad. And then I'll probably queue up some quarterbacks and some tight ends because I don't want this thing to go too much longer, and it's going to get to a point where we're seeing kickers, defenses probably being drafted. So I'm going to queue up a quarterback, queue up Dak Prescott, even though I would assume he's drafted, queue up Aaron Rodgers. I think he's going to have a bounce back season in New York personally. So I feel good about that. Now let's see tight end. Tight end, wouldn't mind Evan Ingram, wouldn't mind Dalton Schultz. So I like both of those guys. There we go. Wouldn't mind Greg Dulcich or Gerald Everett, but they're a little bit lower on the list, right? So let's see how many more picks we have until our selection. 15 more picks, so we can kind of wait it out, grade out, the roster at this point in time. So obviously, right, the experiment here was going wide receiver early in the first within the first 3 picks, and then seeing what happens. So basically, what we saw is there was a big wide receiver run. So it kind of paid off from that perspective. But again, trust me, folks, that's not going to be like this on every platform. This is not just a copy and paste situation on Yahoo. If you've seen it on Yahoo, it's different when we do mocks there. We're going to start doing some NFL mocks as well. It's going to be different there as well. So keep all these things in mind. And then afterwards, we took advantage of running back value. We did get sniped, a decent amount of times, but we were still able to get Ramondre Stevenson. We got Rashaad White. We got good value on Kamara. We got good value on a lot of these names. Chris Olave, Calvin Ridley, Michael Pittman. So I like the situation for us. Now we've gotten to the point where, we can kind of round out the roster. I'll probably draft Aaron Rodgers here, or I'll go tight end. I'll go tight end first since most people already have quarterbacks, right? So I'm going to go with Evan Ingram here. Good offense. I said it before. I know I already have Calvin Ridley, so maybe I guess we should diversify a little bit. I'll go in Dalton Schultz. I think he's going to be a big target for CJ Stroud in Houston. So we let somebody else take Evan Ingram. That's fine. And then we can still get Aaron Rodgers. So overall, I like how this thing turned out. But again, you got to treat every single situation knowing where you're drafting, who you're drafting with, and how these positions are valued. Overall, I'd give this roster, a B grade. I think a lot of it depends on what happens with Alvin Kamara, right? But assuming that he comes back and is available for potentially a playoff run, I mean, having Ramondre Stevenson and Alvin Kamara, that's pretty nice right there. If Calvin Ridley does what we know he can, we've got Kupp, Olave, some really nice PPR options here. So I don't mind it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. If you enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter at AllDayPigskin to continue interacting with us there. But in the meantime, we'll see you guys in future videos.